What's going on, everyone? Today we're here with Manuel Gadoy. Now, he is the head of Black Sands Entertainment. He has a comic book series, and it actually looks very, very good. I was impressed by the work. So, Manuel, thank you for joining the show today.
Thank you, thank you.
Got you drawing comic books.
Well, I'm the writer of the comic books, and I have an artist who's been working for me for years. But the main reason why I started comic books was mostly because I couldn't afford to make video games. I love video games, and when I made the Black Sands universe, I was originally trying to make a RPG series. So I made the comic books instead because it was more fiscally responsible for my family, right?
I like
But
how you put that.
yeah, but that took off pretty hard, and since then we've just been grinding ever since. Now I have one of the hottest selling indie comics in the country.
And that's great. So I saw some of the characters that you had in one of the latest ones. It looked like there's a Egyptian, correct?
Yeah, so most of the main characters are based on Egyptian mythology. But there's a whole bunch of other nations as well included in the story. They're just not the main characters.
Okay, so you said, are you a gamer?
Yeah, I'm a huge gamer.
Okay, so you say it wasn't fiscally responsible, so you have to like work for a big company to do that kind of artwork. Cause you look in the games and man, you look at the cutscenes in a lot of these games. And I'm like, even if it's comic book style, it's like man, it's like a movie now.
Yeah, yeah. So a video game would have cost me at least $60,000 to make, and because I didn't have a reputation yet, the chances of that being successful was not that good. Huge risk. So we decided to make comic books instead. Cost about $6,000 per issue, right? And that worked out very well because I'd sold at least 5,000 copies of each issue that's come out so far. So.
Yeah, and like I said, I wouldn't put out the idea of a video game if let's say if the comics sold pretty good and just about funded at least part of or half of that shit. I'm like, man, let me go ahead on and try to pull that trigger on that video game. If, like you said, if you think the video game that you're trying to create is good enough, because you can't really be successful without taking a risk. Them games, like I said, you get one. Look at freaking what's that, Fortnite, right? That
Yeah.
game to me is simplistic and real boring to me, but people live on Fortnite all day.
Yeah, I think that was celebrity placements, man, that made that happen. Personally,
You have to
there's a
do
lot
what?
of Fortnites. I think there was celebrity placements out there that really got that going because there's a lot of Fortnites out there for decades. There's been Fortnite games, so,
Hmm.
so I don't know why this one just decided to take off like that. But everybody was talking about it, even celebrities and crap. So I don't know. It's one of those things. Nowadays we have trends that are
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Well, you talking about making a game, like and everything. I don't know, like if someone can make a game from either like even like you have war games, and that's always very popular. But like, for instance, all the Call of Duty games that you see, you noticed that none of the Call of Duty games have been featured with a black soldier.
Yeah, I mean that's just the way it is. These people they act like soldiers don't exist. But that's the gaming industry in general. Like there's some companies that go out of their way to make sure that they have black leads every now and then,
Hmm.
but most of them don't. So it really depends on which companies they are. Like they know that the money's not going to change much if they put a black character in there. But some of them are just so stuck in tradition that they won't change that. They're like, nah, we're good.
I like how you use the word tradition because for me, it goes back to the same old same old. It's just for me, it's a lot of racism with that because so you got people of all races play games, right? And I think everybody should be represented in games, comics, whatever. And I'm seeing Marvel's trying to do that, with all these characters or turning some characters black now. And they're now, let's say like in your comics, is it all considered out of Egypt, or like who are they mostly battling?
Okay, so who they're mostly battling is actually ancients. So that's like ancient gods from planet Nibiru. So there's a lot of little bit of ancient alien theory in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they're like the Anunnaki, the Titans, and all those old gods that are like kind of mythical. You know, they don't really have bodies or walk around like people at all. They're more like elementals, and that's the real war that's going on in the story. But there's also the political strife and war between certain nations like Sparta and Minoa, or the Sumerians and the Phoenicians and stuff like that. And those things really come across in the story. You know, Cush and Kemet in my story, or ancient Egypt and Nubia, right? They're like they're rivals slash friends. You know, whatever's convenient at the time. You know, so you know, it's a lot of politics in my story because I love politics and history in general, and I think it's very good for, you know, kids and adults to learn more about what was going on in the past, you know, and how politics works, because that's how it is today too. You know, sometimes you got to deal with your enemies in a cordial way, you know, because it's convenient at the time. You know, there's nothing you can do about that.
Right. I heard you mentioning all those places, like, you know, the Phoenicians and so I said, man, it remind me of the Old Testament hearing those words. You know, some of those people saying, "What's next? You gonna have the Assyrians in there too, or the Philistines?"
Not this one, but they'll
Not this one. They probably eventually show up. You definitely got to have the giants and the Philistines, because you got to remember Goliath wasn't the only one.
well, actually, the giants are in there. They're the Nephilim in our story. So
Okay.
we call them the Nephilim, and Goliath is because we're slick. You know, we like putting like famous names in the stories, even if it didn't fit. So what we did was we put Goliath is not the name of him, but it was his title, since he was the last giant. You
Mm-hmm.
know, the Goliath means the greatest of all giants. So whoever is the chief of giants is Goliath, no matter who it is.
Right. Yeah. I like I said, it just, you know, that's pretty cool. Like I said, I wish I had that talent. Like I said, there's so many ideas I would have. Sometimes I think of a stories from my childhood, you know, but sometimes I know if I wanted live action, or if I wanted, you know, a cartoon of it, because I have so many craziness that happened back when I was a kid, and people would, you know, would bring a lot of my upbringing. And people ask me why I'm so old school. A lot of times is, and I could just show you from childhood why.
I know, man.
Yeah. So how people can definitely get your comic book if they say, hey, I want to look at that. I like the history aspect, and I want to support. How can people get that?
So basically, what they can do is go to our store, which is buykidstokings.com. That's BUYKIDS 2, the number 2, kings.com. And basically, they can go and buy physical books. They can also find us on Patreon/Backsands. And they can also look out for our movie coming soon. We have a pilot that we just funded on Kickstarter. We said we raised about 64,000, and we're gonna make a ridiculous pilot so that we can try to get that syndicated, hopefully become a TV series one day. We're already halfway there, so we'll be dropping a teaser maybe in the next month or so.
Okay, all right. Well, make sure everyone support. We all about supporting definitely the people in the community. Support the brothers. You know, he doing for self, and that's something we promote. Doing for self. If it's comics, video games, whatever, we all have our lane in life. There's a lot of fun to be made out there. We don't all have to do one thing. Entertainment is definitely a lucrative lane to be in. Trust me, it is. So, Manuel, thank you for joining us on the show today, brother. You keep on trucking along, and you know, we hope you get funded times two.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. See you later, boss.